Welcome back to the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. I think we're all trying to catch our breath after that final shot of the quarterfinals in Rotterdam at the Ahoy Arena in the Netherlands. Rob Cross missing double 18 for a 150 checkout. Hits a single 4, but he thinks he's coming back. Luke Littler had very different ideas. Averaged over 108. And his full stop on the game, a 145 checkout with treble 19, treble 16 and double top. Rob Cross averaging over 110 in that game and losing by 6 legs to 5. He lost very graciously in that one, Scott Mitchell, but the fact remains is he has not got more points and he will remain on 12 points now, and he's going to see people above him tonight trying to basically put him out to sea.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to gap him in the table, aren't they? So, and he's going to have to agonisingly sit there and watch that. We both know what that feels like. It is always a difficult thing to sit there and watch, but we saw some great stuff. We keep reiterating how good Littler is, and we keep telling the world how good he is. And as dart players, we appreciate these things that he's doing probably more than the general public understand, because we've been in these situations and probably failed them more miserably. Like on that 145, we're probably in the situation we haven't even hit the treble 20 or the treble you're going for to start. So look, he is one's very, very special talent, and he keeps backing it up time after time.
With shots like that, we're talking about hitting a 9-darter a different way in Cardiff. The first stage 9-darter with a double 15 at the end, quintessentially Littler. But the ability to add weight to his barrels before a dart is thrown in anger on the stage tonight, to be able to back yourself with an extra 10% in weight on the stage and to still be able to average over 108, what does that tell us in addition to what we already know about the world champion?
Look, it's just, for me, it's just mesmerising. I can tell when my dart is half a gram lighter, or something has changed with it, or the point is not right. For him to be then purposely going to do it, you've got to believe in the process. You have to believe in the process, otherwise you're messing yourself up. You're messing with your head, you're messing with everything that you've been telling yourself for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, however long he's been using this dart. And now all of a sudden, he's telling himself it's the right thing to do. It has to be a positive thing in the mind to be able to change. And he's just doing it with ease.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. But now he's going to take on Stephen Bunting in the second semi-final. We will be having our first semi-final with Chris Dobey and Nathan Aspinall. So England are having a very, very good night in the Premier League. So it will be an English winner. It could indeed be a 3-time winner in a row, Nathan Aspinall, here tonight. But the English have had a very good time of it the last few years in the Ahoy Arena, that's for sure. Now, one of the reasons why Luke Littler did change the weight of his darts, now we don't know whether he changed them backstage because of what's happened previously tonight, or whether this is something he has planned before tonight, but we have been keeping abreast of what's been happening on social media, and there has been a post from Gerwyn Price which we are able to quote right now. This is how it went on Gezi Price's Instagram. Gutted for myself, gutted for everyone that supports me. I'm so sorry, but this week was pointless, and we move to next week. Darts were blowing everywhere, and after one leg, which I was lucky to get, I knew it's pointless. And where I was in the league after vital points, it's not what I wanted. Hopefully the PDC will now stop coming here and look for alternative venues. Not good for the players, not good for the fans, and not good for the people that like a bet. On to next week, where we get to play in decent conditions. Now, next week is Liverpool at a long-standing venue. Obviously, he's played in Premier League campaigns before, Scott, and he must like Liverpool saying that, but what do you make of his point about the venue itself?
There's obviously going to be disappointment first and foremost because he's lost, but Gezi's not one of those, is he? There are players out there who will have a whinge or whatever, but Gezi's not one of those. He doesn't generally do that. So there must be a genuine issue. We are seeing players this evening waving their hands about and saying that they're instigating that there is something there. But yeah, I do feel for him. I do feel for him, because some players a little draft will affect amazingly, and other players will come to you. And we've had it at other venues. I've had it before in the Pro Tours. I had one particular venue where I'd won 6-3 and I wasn't happy. But of course, you can't change anything. There's nothing really you can change. You can't go start shutting all the doors, and it's a very difficult one to try and get your head round as a player, because you know the Premier League is probably the pinnacle of darts as a sport, and being one of those 8 players within it is something special. And so then when you get to a venue that probably doesn't suit you for some reason or another, this instance is a little bit about the draft. It's disappointing for you as a player.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but will this affect what these players' preparations will be going into the final couple of furlongs of this campaign? Because if they're adamant that there are atmospherics that aren't ideal on the Rotterdam stage, do they prepare for something like this? Do they take an extra set of darts in their case, just for the want of a better phrase, in case something like this happens again? And if they feel that they need a bit of a bulkier piece of equipment, is this something that all of the players should do, or should the conditions be the same everywhere? This is a very interesting topic, because these are very large arenas. They're obviously going to have a lot of airflow. This is what Peter Wright has talked about for many, many years, and this is his first year without Premier League darts for 11 years. So maybe Peter Wright was onto something, saying that every venue is slightly different.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that the way that the fans come to the venue and the way that the venues are held, you know, maybe it is time for the player to start trying to fit the venue to their equipment. And I know they shouldn't have to, and I know it's a very difficult thing to do. But Luke Littler's doing it. I mean, there's a few players out there do that. They'll have a couple of sets of darts with them, and the points be a couple of mil difference. There are players out there that do it, but obviously there are players that don't, and they're expecting more from being at the top end of the game.
I can imagine some players saying, well, they only make my dart in one weight. Well, if they make you a dart, I'm sure they will make you one that's slightly heavier if needs be, and they can be made very quickly these days. But let's focus on the positives, because Chris Dobey, he's on 9 points now in the Premier League table. As far as position, that has not changed, but one more point on offer to get to double figures if he can take out Nathan Aspinall. 7 players have tried in different games, 7 players have failed. Nathan is perfect in Rotterdam. Now we've got to try and figure out why that is. What is it about Rotterdam that really works for Nathan Aspinall? And I hate to bring up the hot topic, but he's got the heaviest dart of all of the players, so is this something to do with it?
I was just looking at my sheets and looking who's been winning, and yes, I think it could well be. He's playing with a 26 gram dart here, and he does every week, and maybe that's the secret.
Well, Chris Dobey, if he wins, goes to 10 points. That will not change his league position, and if Aspinall wins and gets an extra point, he will stay in third, obviously with a chance of getting 2 more. He's not going to better third position, but tonight it's not necessarily about progressing position-wise in the table, Scott. It's about making sure that he's got as much of a buffer ahead of Liverpool next week over the likes of Price, Van Gerwen, and now Rob Cross, who is starting to tumble because he's now on 12 points and can't do anything about it tonight.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said there. I think the top 2 look like they're away. They've still got a little bit of work to do, but I mean, they're in pole position. They can afford a few mistakes. Those next 3 or 4 really have got to make hay while the sun shines, and unfortunately for Cross tonight, the sun didn't shine. And when I say that, I mean it's always difficult to be playing Littler first game on. So when he isn't playing Littler first game on, he's got to make sure that he makes it count and he starts adding points to his table.
Let's welcome back Nathan Aspinall. John McDonald is your MC. There are Dutch dart players all over the Ahoy tonight. We've seen Dirk van Dijvenbode in the VIP area wearing a Raymond van Barneveld shirt. We've just spotted Moreno Blom, one of the fastest players in the world. He's in the regular audience as Nathan walks up the steps, not before giving one of the security guards a nice hug.
Yeah, Moreno Blom, one of those that we've seen bits of. This is his early part of his career. Could possibly be seeing him do more. Definitely enjoying the darts in the crowd tonight. He's in with a bunch of friends.
Do you know the words, Scott?
This?
Yeah.
No.
Know the next one. I know that word. He doesn't want to be jealous of Chris Dobey tonight, that's for sure. They know the words.
It's becoming a very iconic walk-on.
And if you're Nathan Aspinall, you'll never get sick of that. I know we never will. And anybody from north of the River Tyne never gets sick of this. It might be a little bit cheesy, but there's no chizzy in this tournament, but there is a Chris Dobey. Chris walking down the ramp now and hoping that it is time to rumble and not time to grumble. He will go to Munich this weekend to try and fix his European Tour form, which this year has been very poor by his very high standards. Coincidentally, 3 of the semi-finalists tonight in Rotterdam have all got the same manager. So that manager's having a very good night. Now this one could be ominous for Chris. His record against Nathan Aspinall in Premier League Darts is not great. They've played once in the campaign this season so far. Nathan won that one. And overall it's 3-1 to the Asp. So fighting uphill is what Chris has to do. He's got the darts, so he's won that particular battle to start, Scott.
Yeah, we know these two guys are extremely good friends, and somehow, as we've both found in our darting careers, you have to put that to one side. You can't go soft on your mate up there. You've got to absolutely give it to him harder than you do the rest, and it's because they're the ones that are most comfortable playing you.
Who was that one friend that you despised playing because it just didn't sit right with you?
For me, when we were touring the BDO circuit, probably Paul Carter, the Cannonball back in the day, made Lakeside. We were such good mates that everybody thought we were enemies, but it was always difficult to play one another, and I'm sure he'd stay the same today.
Yeah, it's difficult, that's for sure. But there's also a difficulty in playing enemies because you can want to beat them too much. So with this fixture in mind, they know each other inside and out. And they won't want to win it too much. They'll just want to win it. That's a perfect first start for Dobey. If he gets maximums the way he did in the quarterfinal, Aspinall's got trouble, and he's already added to his total.
I love what you said there. When you're trying to play an enemy, you do try too hard and you force it. When you're playing a mate, sometimes you go too soft. You want to be somewhere in between.
Yeah, you want the sweet spot. Only a 24 start there for Aspinall, who won't panic, but his undefeated record in Rotterdam is at risk as Dobey has hit 5, now 6. 4 9-darters in the Premier League this year, and they've been hit by 4 players. Is Dobey about to add his name to the list to bring Rotterdam to its feet? 1-4-1. And the oohs tell you everything you need to know. But it's still a brilliant start. He's left himself on 76 and Aspinall's back on 427.
That damn draft.
Doesn't look very drafty in this game. Or maybe Dobey is the draft excluder, as he's got 76 for a possible 12 darter now. Small 20 to start the combination. He's on tops after that single 16 is found. And that tops gives him the ideal beginning. Hold of throw in 12, 1-0 Dobey on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel.
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered for Dobey. A nice comfortable hold of throw. Here comes Aspinall.
Chris has only won one semi-final this year, and that was in Belfast. He's got an affinity to Belfast, you know, Scott. In 2023, started his Premier League career in Belfast, won the night, and that was after beating Aspinall en route. But his only semi-final win this year was against Rob Cross in Belfast. You know how the song goes. This could be Rotterdam or anywhere. It's not Belfast. We know that.
It's definitely Rotterdam.
And that section of the board is not orange, that's red. Aspinall with another 140 to leave 124 to take the second leg, but the pressure comes via another max from Dobey. Now Aspinall's already getting sick of him hitting maximums against him. To stop him having a shot at 84, the Asp at 1-0 down needs 124.
Dobey's on 40 180s for the Premier League series so far. Aspinall up on 58 before we started the evening. Both have added.
Well, on 124, he's got a treble 20, and then he's gone for the treble 14 and hit a small 9, and he's irate. He looks like a child at Christmas who's just realised that it's Christmas Eve instead.
Yeah, you've got a pink bike instead of a red one.
And Dobey has got the 14 on an 84 checkout. Now it's ball, which he misses southeast of the target in the 25. Aspinall does come back for tops, and he looks at that tops like it's the Grinch. Misses it low, but only just, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters low. This is double 10 left. This is all very deliberate, and he misses 5, so it's a triple split. And Dobey has a chance of 2-0 here, as Rotterdam tries to take in what they're saying. It could be a 2-0 lead for Dobey on double 8, and he gets exactly that. He's doing what Aspinall isn't. Break of throw for Chris. If you were to assign a percentage of a chance for Dobey to make the top 4 by the end of Sheffield in week 16, what would it be, Scott?
If he can continue to play in a similar vein to this, the answer is yes, but what we've not got to forget was, in that first match tonight against Luke Humphries, the second leg changed the game, where Humphries was all over him like a rash and was going to get it back, and made 9 darts, just messed it up, and Dobey jumped in and then went on. Are we seeing the same here now? Aspinall's just made a bit of a hash of that second leg. Dobey's jumped on the chance. Is he going to skate off into the sunset? That's my question. He's waiting for others to make mistakes to get him going.
If I were going to give it a percentage, I'd say that Dobey making the top 4 at the minute is about 20%. It's pretty low, but things can change, and this is why the PDC changed the format. They wanted people at this stage of the season to still have a decent chance if they went on a hot streak. If Dobey was to win tonight and in Liverpool, he is very much in the picture. He's on 244, and that 140 gets him to 104, which is a guaranteed look at a finish for a 3-0 lead. Aspinall back on 267.
Yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from there, mate. I do get that. I think I was going to say 25%. That's what I was going to say, if I'm honest.
Well, Dobey's on 104 and he's got a treble 18. Then he gets his single. 3-0 for him if he hits double 16, which he does. Clinical so far. My word, what a performance this is from Chris. Had his first winning 100-plus average of the campaign here tonight. And now it's just a little bit better. It's close to 110.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, do you think there's an element of, well, he saw Bunting do it the other week. He knows that he can do it from that position. Anybody can win any week in this 8. And it doesn't matter where you are in the table. It's all about whether you get a little bit of luck on the night and whether you start throwing your A-game darts.
Well, with a little bit of luck, a win could get you through the night. As Dobey finds another one. That's his 3rd of the game and his 9th of the night. Quite incredible from the man from Bedlington in southeast Northumberland. But Aspinall's starting to coop now. He's on for a 1. Now he flings the last start away in anger. I don't know why. It was a really good visit up until that one. He still leaves 86 though. Dobey's going to have to be really crafty to get to a finish from 264. He'll have to use the 18s with the last dart and effectively gets it to leave 170.
Aspinall in the background there, just winding himself up, trying to get a bit of something inside him to tell himself that this 86 is his, being positive. Does he go for the treble or does he take the big number? He goes for the treble. It's double 7.
Making us wait, and he splits it. It's only just over the top. But Dobey's got 170. He's trying to echo what Aspinall did a little bit earlier on, but he can't. Too low on the first start, but the switch.
Echo what he did in Belfast as well. He did the 170 in Belfast in week 1 on that brilliant week that he had.
Nathan's got 7 points here. Single 3 is central, but slightly right. Now he's on double 1. He's missed double 2 high by a good half an inch. Double 1 though, gets him out of jail. It's 3-1. And he needed that hold. If he didn't get it, he was going to be 4-0 down, but the gap is only 2 when it could have been 4.
Did you see that face? Not the one in the crowd, on Aspinall. He was absolutely, it was happening. There was no doubt in his mind that that was going.
He knows that he's never lost here. Take it from someone, and you've probably got venues where you've got such an affinity, you think, I'm not going to lose here. I went for years without losing in New Zealand. Any game. I won every game I played in New Zealand. And then I went back there for the World Series. Now, I'm not losing in New Zealand. It just so happens that I did to James Wade, but you have that affinity with a place or a country or a venue, and Aspinall does not want to lose in this place tonight.
I think every player or everybody that's listening to this tonight understands that, because you can have it in your local pub league that there's a venue that you really enjoy playing. You hope it's your home venue so that you're playing there more often than not. But no, there are places, and I think players can relate with exactly what you were saying about what level you are.
Aspinall 2-2-1, 60 followed by a big 20. He may switch here. The first dart's precarious. That's why he went to the 17s, and again he's looking to the right hand side. As to why, I'm not sure. He's got 124 with Dobey bearing down on him from 270.
I think that was a random whistler that time. There was one whistle, I think, that he heard right at the last minute. We don't condone that. We hate that, and as a player, it's just the most horrible thing to happen to you when you're up there on that stage, isn't it?
Couldn't agree more. I echo those sentiments. Nathan's got 124 again, with Dobey on 170 again. Feels like deja vu. But this time Aspinall has a treble 20. He's looking at the 14s, and this time he gets the treble 14. He doesn't mess it up. It's double 11. He's missed it slightly left by a centimetre, leaving 22, and Dobey again. Here's 170 on the hook. It might be. That first dart's right at the top of the 60. The next one doesn't collide kindly and just bounces away.
Yeah, a bit of a flight clash. And now there's a decision here for Aspinall. I would go for it. I would go for it and have a chance of winning the leg.
He's just in the same spot as his last miss on double 11, just left. The adjustment is perfect. A lovely little flick on from the right hand side of his flight makes it 3-2, and Aspinall has made it a game that is back on throw.
Now there's adjustment in his standing position there. He just moved over sort of 3 centimetres, 2 centimetres with his foot to throw it, to enable him to throw exactly the same dart, 3 centimetres inside, 2 centimetres inside his first one. Lovely stuff from Aspinall.
Do you know anybody who splits 11s?
No, because it's not a bad number to be going at, is it? I don't know too many that do it. I think it depends on the circumstance these days. If the guy was on 200 and something, then yeah, you'd split it. I think that's the way that the game is going. That's the modern way. But no, there aren't too many.
Yeah, 370 for Dobey here. He's 3-2 up. Aspinall 322, a dart ahead. Dobey's been reeled in a little bit here. It could have been 4-0, remember. If it hadn't been for a really key shot in leg 4 to keep Aspinall within touching distance.
Another whistle there just as Nathan came in, and he reacted to it a little bit and stepped back out and reset.
Experience right there. He's not that old, but he's been around long enough to know that if someone's doing that, he's just got to step back and back himself again. 3-2-6 for Dobey. First start treble 5. Adds 80 more and an eye roll at the end of that one. He's not happy with the way he's scoring all of a sudden. He's not doing what he did at the early stage of the match. At 3-0 up, he was averaging 110. That's come down by 8 points. 2-3-1 for him. Aspinall a dart ahead on 186. Not for long. Here it comes from the Northumbrian. Rediscovers what he was doing earlier in the match to leave 51. His 180 shooting tonight has been incredible, Scott.
Yeah, it has. I think that he's for 32 and he's been good here on this side of the board as well, and he is once again. And he really is being a pain in the proverbial neck for Aspinall.
On talkSPORT Drive about 10 days ago, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent were talking about a song called Opposites Attract by Paul Abdul and DJ Cat. This game right now is like that song because it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But I'm not really sure who the 2 steps forward and 1 step back is for. It was Aspinall who got 2 legs in a row, and then all of a sudden Dobey takes one off him.
I think whoever wins this game will feel that they've taken the 2 steps forward. That's no two ways about it.
11 180s for the night for Dobey, and he hasn't even completed his second game. He would love to make his second final of this campaign after making the final of Belfast on night 1. He wouldn't care who he plays. He just wants a chance of getting that first nightly victory. He's on 250 here with a 4-2 lead. Aspinall on 265 will concentrate on the 19s.
Yeah, Dobey's best game is always built off of his scoring, always has been. Giving him opportunities on the doubles. He's never been one of those that starts hitting doubles and then the scoring comes second. It's always been about his scoring, and then the doubles tend to follow.
82.
Is that your way of saying he's more like an Alan Shearer type player instead of a Rule Fox?
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah.
He's more about hitting the back of the net and setting it up, or possibly defending. I think he would take that as a compliment. 192 for Dobey. Aspinall against the darts here on 183 has the throw, and he's using it pretty well. 2 treble 19s gets him well down inside the 2-dart zone of 49 now. Dobey's looking to get into a 2-darter himself from 192.
65.
Had to go for plan B, which was the 25 at the end of the visit. Gets him to 127. Aspinall surely 1 step forward here on 49, Scott.
Yeah, indeed. Tells himself, come on. Kicks the oche firmly. Releases. Centimetre to the right, and he would have been okay, but he went 3 centimetres to the right and inside onto the 16.
He's just given the double 16 an eye roll and a half, as if to say, why didn't you just take my dart and make it 4-3 down? Dobey's got a shot at the bull for a 127 for 5-2. Oh, it's another brilliant bull here tonight in Rotterdam. That's getting respect from Aspinall. He's done that to many an opponent, not just tonight, but worldwide in his career. And tonight he has to take it because he's now 5-2 down to his stablemate from Bedlington.
Indeed he is, and if Aspinall's going to remain unbeaten here in the Rotterdam Ahoy, he's going to have to pull his socks up, because Dobey looks menacing.
one thing has been levelled at Chris over the years is that he doesn't finish jobs quick enough. But what's Nathan up to here in Rotterdam? There aren't many things he hasn't done here. He's had a 170 finish tonight. He's got 2 nightly wins over the last couple of years. Dobey's getting in on the party with a 180, but Aspinall's on a 9. Everybody wants him to hit it, maybe even Dobey, but it's not going to be hit. He's just short of the 60. And there's that $1 million smile of the man from Stockport. Treble 19, followed by a single 16. He'll be well placed on 48 when he comes back.
And the jovial side to him as well. He's 5-2 down, and he's still able to see the funny side of that.
What is it our colleague Chris Mason says? Setbacks make for getbacks. Wow, Aspinall on 48. He's at double 16 first. Now he's going for double 8 with his second attempt, and he's missed it. This is match point Dobey on 134. Does he start on 18s? I wonder. Only gets the 1. So he's going to have to settle for a setup, which is very good. 94 scored with 4 19s till he tops, and Aspinall must save the match now on double 8.
I think if you're Dobey in this situation, you're not bothered what happens here either way. You feel that if there's another leg, you're having it anyway with the throw. And you would go through your mind, and I would tell myself, you're just delaying the inevitable, Nathan. That's my attitude here.
Well, the inevitable is that Aspinall's missed double 8 3 times, twice left, once right, and Dobey's on tops to win 6-2. Misses it just low. So it's double 10 with whistles from the crowd, and Aspinall is disgusted by them. He stands and shakes his head. Dobey misses 10s with his first attempt, but hits it with the last one. And Dobey's first reaction is to point to the whistlers. He should point to himself and say, well done, Chris, because he's in his second final of this year's Premier League. He was without a doubt the better player, and for the second time tonight he averages in 3 figures, and the second time tonight as well that he's had 6 180s. So he's replicated what he did a little bit earlier on tonight when he beat Luke Humphries 6-3. It's a 6-2 victory this time though, and Dobey is in the final.
Yeah, I mean, he's had to play well to inflict Aspinall's first defeat in the venue, and you've got to say that he'll be pleased with that and now fancying it, because we said earlier at the start of the game that we felt that the draw had opened up for anybody tonight, and I think it has. So this one is going to be this one between Littler and Bunting is going to be pretty special. Both from the same neck of the woods, good mates, known each other a while, and I think of all the people that ever plays Littler, I think that Bunting is the one that doesn't fear him the most.
It'll be interesting to see and hear what will happen during this game, because it was evident that most of the Rotterdam crowd wanted Nathan Aspinall to win that first semi-final, but he didn't. Chris Dobey has, so he's going to go into a final. Will he be the next English player to win at the Ahoy? We will find out when we come back. But of course, when it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. Threat Protection Pro helps you dodge bogus sites, and with the Dark Web Monitor you'll get a heads up if your personal info starts circulating in the online equivalent of the Madhouse. Go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and get 2 years plus 4 months free and that lovely birthday deal. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Littler is going to be next after that 145 to save his night in Rotterdam. He's going to be up against Stephen Bunting, who took out the home favourite, Michael van Gerwen. Keep it here. We'll be right back.